Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome once again to the WGLEU Season 2 Match Day 5, or Match Week 5, I guess we can call it by now. But still, it is myself and Ollie bringing you this one. We have put the Aussie down under and put him away for the Christmas season, and now you're left with us. But we are, of course, joined by Melly as well. So the regular gang's back together, and we've got some good games coming up today. And it's the final one until we go to the seasonal break, let's call it.
Exactly. We're going to be going to Christmas, New Year's, and then we'll have a bit of a break until the 12th of January, which is, of course, when our next show is. But yeah, let's make this last one a good one.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing here. And we have 3 very good games coming up for you guys as well. But before we get into that, I myself certainly need a bit of a catch-up too. There were some results coming in from that first kind of play day of this week that maybe, you know, turned some heads or two, but we'll have to find out what they were in just a moment's time once we get that up on the screens. We can have a little talk through it, and Ollie can catch me up to speed, because I certainly didn't see all of these games, but it looks like Utopia certainly came out to play.
Yeah, Utopia looked like a dominant team, especially against out of range. Obviously, Carmen had some excuses towards that one.
Doesn't he always?
We got unlucky. But, you know, I think it was a pretty one-sided result. Obviously, that scoreline does display that one. But I think a couple of those rounds, maybe they got a little bit unlucky. But DiNG, they're looking like a dominant force right now. They seem to be doing well. It's currently in second place on that ranking. So they are finally showing some potential and showing their potential, which we didn't really get to see in the previous season. Kanye crew, otherwise known as Kasna crew.
German keyboards.
German keyboard.
German keyboard.
Versus Tornado Rocks, which is not true. It's going to be against Strong CMS, so that's wrong. Oh, that's from last Thursday, Monday. Sorry, I'm going crazy right now. Yeah,
it's one of those days. It's the last show of the season. Yeah,
sorry, I thought we were looking at today's matches for a second. I got lost there a little bit, as I often do.
It's the eggnog's getting to you.
Exactly. But that was a good match. I think Kasna with some strange tactics. They gave like 2 or 3 rounds away, especially on that first map, Prokhorovka, and it was just downhill from that point onwards, I have to say.
Yeah, a little interesting to see them losing out in that one. Of course, the opponents weren't exactly a walk in the park, but still, Kasna crew are still sitting in kind of first place at the moment. You'd expect some bigger results maybe coming off the back of that. I mean,
well, let's be honest. I mean, Tornado lost against DiNG in their previous match day, which is
so
like a worst team.
Where do you put people, right?
I have no idea. Like, in my opinion, Kasna just screwed that match day completely and kind of lost their cool there in that match. But it was a good match day all around.
It was, and in case maybe just seeing those graphics wasn't enough for you guys, we have a lovely little video lined up just for you. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe there is no video. We'll just sit here and stare at you until it happens and then awkwardly be cut off. But we can have a look back at those results very soon, I can imagine, as soon as we get that one.
Feel like it, you know?
Yeah, we're just taking it easy. It's a Christmas show, you know. I want some eggnog and a little Santa hat. Why don't we have Santa hats, Ollie?
I don't know. I think we should get some mailed in. Bit late for that, actually. I don't know. Sure, I'm kind of a green Santa hat guy, though. I mean, I wouldn't really take...
You don't go red?
No.
What's wrong with you?
It's not the proper Christmas one. Before Coca-Cola came along with their
Coca-Cola
corporation with their red Santa stuff everywhere.
Fight the power.
I have to say, though, red is better than green for Christmas. It's like a more warm
It is. It's like a warming colour, you know, by the fire, with eggnog in hand. I'm excited for Christmas.
Chestnuts.
Oh, roasted chestnuts.
Yeah,
I'm ready. I'm absolutely ready for that. And hopefully we'll be ready for that video really soon. I don't know what's happening. Maybe Roman can tell me. Oh, there we go. Catch you in a bit, guys.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the WGLEU Season 2 for 2015 and 2016. It's now match week number 5. Kasna crew looking really damn good right now. Clean sheet, no tiebreakers, nothing there to mess that up for him. And, I mean, DiNG and Oops now as well up in that top 4.
Great work here from Positive. Despite being a 2 versus 1 situation, Kasna should have taken care of him a little earlier on, but still Positive will fall in the next shot.
Well, Eurofish there moving forward to try and block the shot, one would have to think, from Positive. Hybrid's to a 1-shot now. Eurofish can finish Positive, but he's on his own, and Tornado Rock's just decimating Kasna crew there as well. They're trading just seem to be so much on point, which is ironic, Oliver, because it's actually... oh, there's an ammo rack as well, wrecked.
I think he already used his ammo rack to try and get rid of one of those perma tracks he could have got in, but still Kasna are quite far ahead at this point in terms of HP. The Armageddon gets taken now, and Didor is there on his own on a one-shot.
Didor doing some decent damage this round, but eventually he's going to be caught out and surrounded by Kasna crew. And there is Stefan. He's going to get involved as well. FC Dynamo taking a heck of a lot of damage, and Vetso as well. Look how surrounded Tornado Rocks are on this map. Even Nexus is going to get up behind them as well. From every direction, shots are raining in towards Tornado Rocks, and there's only so long that they can stand up to this kind of punishment for Didor. He's going to be able to do so much work from the back once he gets there. They're all so low, these Kasna crew takes, and he's off reload. He's now going to start putting the shots in. FKK Schnitzel falls. Vetso now goes towards a one-shot. They're looking for targets as well, but Vetso, he himself is on reload, and the Nexus, of course, on Object 140. He is also very low. Didor cleans up here as well. I see how this one plays out. Beautiful stuff from that man as well. Picked his moment absolutely perfectly, and Nexus will fall as well. Tornado Rocks, that is how you play some brawl tanks on the hip. Look at Strong Sim, look how low they've gone. 4 tanks left. Ridiculous stuff here. I mean, DiNG have 5, so it's not a huge advantage, but still, now, when push comes to shove, when the nose goes to the grindstone, as it were, it seems like Strong Sim don't really have the backup or the depth that they're going to need here. They're just going to fight around this one little hull, and look at all these shots connecting here from DiNG. They're making every bit of damage count. Catch Me is so low. In fact, they've caught him already easily enough, and there as well, Hunter's ought to fall down. There's some shots towards speed, and Wilson does take a fairly big hit as well. Meritorious now wants to come forward and put some damage across, but you can see the focus of Strong Siema is straight towards International. Here's a one-shot. Hunter Sword there as well, actually bounced his shot, unfortunately, and that's Wilson going down in that Conqueror. Catch Me though, off towards the side. He's picked up International. Rakar fancies Lukasiastic for dinner. Rulzik now wants to go in that direction, but he's been chased down. It's going to be Hunter Sword as well, the author of his destruction, and DiNG are really starting to languish behind in terms of these health points right now. None of those big tanks are looking over healthy at all have about a match here. You can see Strong Siema managing to try and focus some fire down, getting some good damage across. They've found Rakar, maybe Rulzik or Honknik next as Meritorious and Hunter Sword are locked in a battle to the death on the other side. But Diplomat able to roam 3 up on the side as well. He's in that autoloader. He can help burst down steroids, but Strong Siema, they're not going to stop there. They're coming forward, but they're going to run out of gas.
Look how much good directional firepower those Strong Siema have. They're just getting the overmatch perfectly. It was a 5 versus 5 situation, and they won it quite easily. Okay.
Wow.
You know, the fact that they have the Batchat and the STB didn't really help them out, but just very poor play here from DiNG.
The Batchat brothers are up on the hill though. They're almost loaded, and this is going to hurt real bad if Strong Siema have them coming in from the back, and they will. There's a shot in towards steroids. He drops like fly, and of course Rakar as well will also fall. Honknik now caught amongst 5 takes. I sound like Confucius when I said that. He who fires first drop like fly, and then Honknik now 1 shot away from being picked up with the Batchats here. Are they too late, Oliver? That's the question.
I think they might be. I mean, look how much damage they are taking, but the thing is, DiNG have got the higher ground. They also have a lot more HP, and Stoik has come back from his scenic route finally to join his team. Do what I probably would do, just go hold down here and peek. As long as he doesn't get spotted, he does get the first spot out. Karov hasn't even turned his turret, easy stuff. Game over. Yeah, so we've seen this boost, I think, twice in Season 1. And it looks like Out of Range is aware of this boost as they are just blind shotting across. But I think they think it's on a little bit too far to the right, actually a bounce on the back of them, but some damage finally coming in, and to be fair, they can actually do a lot more damage. Bounces left, right and center onto those STBs. Obviously the APCR, not particularly high penetration in this kind of range.
Oh my gosh. Well, here we go. They are going to push forward. Oliver, exactly as you said it. Maybe they're realizing it's one of their only options left. But Bishu's already taken down, Piotr as he pushes forward. Karov is going to try and go over the hill, but Shuki's there. Yeah, he's lit him enough. He's also seen Mac Money, so brilliant. They've spotted that 251, but they're just going to be walking into the fire here. Shuki there was set on fire actually for a brief moment there as those shots came in, but even Wicked off towards the side. Out of range, just walk straight into this one as well. And there's Diable and Bishu now to push around the corner as well. They're going to find the rest of these out of range tanks, and they are well within range. I'll give you the big tip. It's just 2 left. Senti trying to make a shot towards Forbidden. He'll hit it, but to what end, really? You can see that Piotr is just going to be in a world of hurt right now. And there's Senti back and right up. Shuki coming alongside him, putting the damage in, and this is over. This really is another 5-0 for out of range. Having a nasty start to the season as well. I mean, the most interesting game we see from out of range might be up against Strong Siema at this rate.
Yeah, I mean, that's harsh criticism, bro. But yeah, to be honest, you're right.
Well, that about wraps things up here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us here on this Monday night special. We hope you enjoyed this show, and we also hope you join us again on Thursday night. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, good night, and we'll see you soon.
Well, I don't think I could ever beat Mitch's hairstyle in that show. That was something special. It was, a good 4 inches up. I'm impressed. I've never seen
You
him.
look like Del Boy or something.
It did look a little bit, like, it was it Johnny Bravo as well, the big quiff.
I agree.
Feel that, Mitch.
Exactly
Look
like
at him going all out. Nice stuff, of course, from Mitch and the boys there, and just getting to see it actually live in action, just to kind of summarise the results that we saw at the very start of this show. And I actually saw someone in chat saying they miss Mitch. At least there's one of you, so that's really nice. But still,
it's probably Mitch and just a fake
It probably
account.
is. He's probably sat there with his girlfriend. We're not sure if she's actually real. We've only seen maybe someone once. We're not certain. But still, we reckon he's just on that fake account, just on Twitter and on Twitch chats. Like, yeah, where's Mitch? We miss Mitch. God, his Australian accent is so great. Said no one ever. Anyway, let's check into the rankings and see exactly what went down there and how it kind of changed over the table. As you can see, it may not be the usual look of things. You can check this out for yourself, of course. All is available there, so you can keep up to date with the results and the standings. But to summarise very briefly, Kasna very much at the top, but DiNG not far behind. And there's a lot of teams actually at the moment still actually kind of upsetting a few of the others. Let's be honest here. Wombats on Tanks, 7th.
Yeah, but they're at WCA right now, so they haven't had chance to really play that many matches this season. They've only played 2, whilst the other teams have played 4. So they really haven't had a chance to get into the season so far. But I think we're gonna get to see them after the Christmas break, of course, and we're gonna get to seeing a lot of them because of that deficit of matches. So really looking forward to that one. Apart from that, I mean, it's been definitely a season of upsets so far. We're about halfway through now, and with the new format 768, we're going to see a lot more comebacks. A lot more interesting results, a lot more diversity, and I think that's those top kind of teams will find themselves losing to some of the ones they wouldn't expect to, really.
Yeah, and I'm always excited to see that. I think that's one of the best features of this league. You get to see some, really up-and-coming teams starting to put in a performance, bearing in mind DiNG had a bit of a questionable season before, now really finding their strength within this format. So, I think it's time we actually talk about today's games, as we've been alluding to it this entire time. Of course, we have 3 matches today for you, similar format as ever. That's going to be Oops up against DiNG to kick off, with a nice little matchup there, 4th against 2nd, so relatively close to the top.
Yeah, Oops has definitely been surprising us. They've really showed some good ability so far. Really enjoying what they're actually playing. I think they are going to be one of the better new teams. And DiNG, as I said already, in 2nd place, having beaten Tornado Rocks, fantastic result for them. It wasn't even close. It was like a 5-2 or 5-3. So they're really looking like a good team right now. RR, they've also been okay. Some good results, some bad results. Obviously, they beat Utopia, which is their best result this season so far. And KB, I think it's a competition today between if Oops or KB are the better new team. And, of course, Strong CMO, who's had a disastrous season.
Yes.
They've played a lot of games.
Yes.
2 more games than most teams.
And they've lost all of them.
Yeah, exactly. But I've got to give them props that they've basically played every single match day back-to-back because of Penta and Wombats on Tanks rescheduling their matches for WCA. And Kasna Crew, who, apart from that loss against Tornado, which I think they'll be, kicking themselves for, they've had a pretty breezy season.
Yeah, they've been looking good so far, and that's the thing. It's good to see Kasna getting off to a strong start, because sometimes they do start to slip up every now and then. They start to maybe, I wouldn't say slump, but they certainly have a couple of ups and downs in their performances throughout the regular season. But good to see them off to a strong start here. And as you said, we're midway through, so getting those early results is very important. The amount of times, it's almost endless, that we look back at the start of the season going, oh, if only they'd got maybe 1 more win or 2 more wins under their belt. But still, it's not just about me and Ollie or you guys at home. It's about Melly, and we've all missed Melly. When I don't cast, when I don't do World Tank shows, I just sit there and think of Melly.
We all do.
Yeah. We've got the Melly fan.
But that's scary. But yeah,
boys.
it's the same. It's the same. When I'm at home, I'm like, oh, I should be at the
think of
desk with
yourself?
those 2 guys. No,
very
I was
arrogant.
thinking about you guys. I was telling you how much I love you.
Mwah.
But okay, turn it around, Ollie. Switch my words around. It's okay. That's how
No problem.
he's not deserving of our love, Lauren. He's not.
Harsh words.
And then he complains. About not us not being nice to him.
I know.
But well, tell us how much you dislike Ollie by using the hashtag WGLEU over at Twitter. Also, make sure to follow at WGLEU to get live notification of these matches. Even if you can't watch the streams, you will still know what's going on the service. And of course, our team vote is open. So head over to facebook.com/WGLEU and get involved. Vote for your favorite team, predict the exact scoreline, and maybe you'll win a bonus code.
That sounds pretty good to me. Maybe something nice for Christmas. Maybe Melly could throw some more in because in the Christmas cheer.
Oh,
you
true.
need to encourage her to do that through Twitter, I feel, or something.
I'm kind of newborn today. It was really weird because the past weeks I have no memory of this time. It's not that I've been out partying that much, or it was pretty much the opposite. I was the only one at our Christmas party not drinking, by the way.
Yeah, that was really weird. I turned up and, I turned up late and I was pretty much, teetotal sober because I hadn't had the chance at the free bar. And Melly, this was a good 3 hours into the party. Melly's like, no, I'm stone cold sober. I'm like, you liar. Actually, she was.
Water. Yeah,
she was driving.
And riding my Thetis. But it's done! Yay! So 15 codes per match. Here we go.
Melly's just
we have to celebrate. Let it rain codes. Exactly.
There's a GIF. There we go. Someone wants to make a GIF of that. Please do. We all appreciate it.
Oh no.
Yes.
Okay, maybe. I would like to see that. Hashtag WGLEU as told and as said. 15 bonus codes up for grabs over at Facebook. Get involved. I want to see how your prediction goes for this matchup. And I can't wait for the teams to start.
Yeah, I think they're actually almost ready as well. So everyone's getting ready to go. We can have a little look towards the tank picks, hopefully, and see what they're going to be bringing into this matchup. I'm not too sure myself what they're going for here, but I believe it's going to be on Cliff. So what are your thoughts in this matchup?
Well, I mean, we've seen a lot of good games on Cliff. It's not the most popular map, which are kind of a little bit surprised. I mean, we've seen Prokhorovka and Mines a lot this season so far, but Cliff's a good one. Plenty of V50Ms, plenty of Batchats, AMX50Bs. Still that kind of brawl in the middle area. But the game has definitely slowed down on this map just because of that armor. And, if you don't be careful, you're going to get caught out really easily. And, it goes from bad to worse a lot faster. But it's also a high-skill map, so you still can come back. The lighthouse on that right side, the lighthouse cliff is still important, but you can see the lineups there. Fast, furious, plenty of HP, plenty of firepower, and normal stuff really from both teams.
Well, it's looking good, and I think the teams are pretty much into the battle right now, so no time are wasting. Let's have a little look to see what we've got going on today here between DiNG and Oops, of course. As you said, lots of firepower coming in and a lot of good stuff to keep your eyes on. It'll be DiNG on towards, well, the northern side of things. They're having to keep those, let's say, flag captures safe. And, of course, Oops trying to get control of them, trying to get in their faces. And we're seeing a bit of a 2-5-1 split here. Yeah,
we're seeing a different split up there to the left side, but it's also pretty normal. I guess both of them's a little bit strange. We have to see, of course, if they can exchange well. We've seen teams win and lose based on the back of some good damage from the 2-5-1s and some better play. But initial start, I mean, both these teams have the bat chat, so initially there's going to be quite a bit of exchanging.
Yeah, a lot of damage going through here. That E50M going to be taking a little bit of a beating, but nice target focusing towards Oops actually so far. Insane's taken a lot of damage, as has Somewhere. We're going to be seeing a fold actually coming through. I'm a little surprised that they're going in on this, but they are. Oops are actually committing off the back, and while they're getting some kills in, Hulnick's a little low. He's going to be pressured down, but makes the final counter. Kind of count at least. International pushing back through, and a little bit of switching of sides here, but overall, Oops seems to be doing a lot more damage at the moment.
Well, Oops still have their single-shot tanks alive, and both of the Batchats from DiNG were actually reloading on the hill, so until they actually get off reload, it's just going to be all on Internationals to survive.
I don't know if he can do this. There's another couple of shells, and well, there we have it. He gets put down by Damnus, and International doing what he could, but already this 1-to-1 out here is going to be pretty vital. Honey's going to get it first, and already Oops starting to chip away, even with the HP now. That's going in their favor. Only 2 tanks standing now. Mary is one of them in a great position, but kind of being bullied off this hill now.
He actually made a mistake. He went too far forwards and dropped off the hill a little bit there, so that's definitely not good. And you can see, even if there's 2 Batchats alive, quite a lot of HP still on the side of DiNG, or side of Oops to survive this.
Yeah, and Mary would have to pull off something pretty impressive here as Damnus does clean up Diplomat. And now there's 4 remaining tanks. Even though Honey's on 12 HP, he's still alive. He's still trying to do a little something. They've certainly done well here, and I liked it. They took the aggressive stance, and they actually committed off the back, almost negating whatever Mary could bring. You noted that he made a small player error almost by pushing too far forward there, but still. Looking for a couple more options now. You can see the close-in happening. Nice split as well. Not going to be putting all their eggs in one basket. They want to make sure he can't pin them down 1-to-1. And Mary now knows he's in trouble.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, the cap can easily be made here by Oops, and Meritorious was probably just buying a little bit of time. Kind of surprised that all 3 tanks there from Oops went up. I think the obvious thing that Mary would be dropping off that cliff as soon as possible. Probably shouldn't have done that, but Damnus just has a nice shot there, and still Mary doesn't have the speed to get away from this.
No, Mary knows that his days are numbered. He's making the most of it, at least. You know, Duck of Death is going to be taken down, so he's not going down without a fight here. But with this many tanks standing, it was a matter of time, and Grosser just closes it with some fashion. Oops there, picking up the victory.
Yeah, good round there by Oops. I think the main point there for me is the fact that the 2 Batchets stayed in the fight there for Oops. They were still in the engagement whilst Mary was going up, and the other Batchet, was it Diplomat? I think it was Diplomat, right?
I'm not sure, he got pretty much destroyed quite early on.
No, yeah, Diplomat and Mary in the 2 Batchets of DiNG, they just went up the hill. They got out of this fight. So, you know, they're on reload, fair enough. You know, they want to be trying to engaging, but the thing is, you need that HP in the fight just so they can absorb some damage. So, okay, you know, both teams had 2 Batchets, but because those tanks were still in the fight there for Oops, they ended up with those Batchets dying, which is fair enough. Like, as long as they get their 5 shells out, they clip out, they got another 35 seconds. If they die, it doesn't really matter. Still done their 2k damage. That's still a tier 10 tank down. So then you have the fact that the single shot tanks were still alive there for Oops, which is the main important point, and they could just work through those tanks very easily. And then you had a 3-on-2 situation, which could have worked in favor for DiNG if they had managed to pull off a little bit of a miracle, but they simply just couldn't get those tanks working well together. Some individual player mistakes as well didn't help them out with that one. And yeah, I mean, Grosser with that nice little kind of bunny hop off the hill there did 3,463 damage with 2 kills in the STB
nice.
As the highest damage dealer.
Very nice stuff. And to be fair, this is a good start for Oops, considering they are the lower, I guess, ranked team out of these 2. That's exactly what you want. Just get off to a good start. You know, the thing is either they just had a better plan in mind that worked out well against what DiNG were bringing, or they were actually very situationally aware and played pretty correctly, spotted that the 2 Batchets weren't quite into the fight, made that overmatch count. Either way, it's pretty good for me that they're actually already starting to maybe read into the opponents. If we can look at a scoreline here, Ollie, what would you predict in this one?
Well, it's really hard to predict at an early stage. I would say Oops is having a good start to their season. Of course, DiNG with a stronger lineup and having that good result against Tornado. In the long run, I would say DiNG should have it like a 5-3 or 5-2. But like Oops had a bit of a rough start, but they've just been getting better as a team. They've been progressing really nicely, and they seem to have a good core roster. So I don't know. There's always a chance in Sim 68 that you can win as a lower team, and it's going to be hard. But I think they've got a possibility.
They certainly do, and as you said, really good start for them. If there was going to be a chance, it has to start at the very offset. And this is a difference, though. DiNG going to be switching up, going for that almost Russian-style start that we saw back in the early days of splitting down towards that western side, heading up maybe towards that kind of, E3 area, playing around the rock. And is this a counter to what we've seen? But Honey's already spotted this out, so that's a good bit of information gathered. Yeah,
this is kind of like a 734 format tactic. We've seen a lot of teams do it. And it's more because the defense team can get in better positions at the beginning to actually get this first exchange. But Insane takes down Shockish. That's a great, nice little pickup there for the boys from Oops. And, I'm kind of surprised that they had the RU-251 go in that position against the Batchets. Those Batchets are exactly the same speed as those 251s, basically. So obviously losing it, not a great start for DiNG.
Insane's living up to his name here. He's just gone for a bit of a wander into no man's land and down to a one-shot. Mary might be able to find a shot, possibly, as the rest are going to be keeping eyes on. But he's got map control to a degree. Maybe a little bit too much of a sacrifice here, and Mary is going to look for it. Not sure if he's going to have that shot. He does. Nice work from Mary to kind of even the score, but what happened then with Insane? Was that worth it or not?
Well, obviously they went for Shockish. They took him out, but then he didn't reverse. He just went straight forwards and got taken down very low. I guess that's the sacrifice they had to make to get Shockish out of the game, but I don't think it was worth it. But I also thought he could have survived. I mean, even in that last stage there, he was still spotted. He's got to wait 10 seconds. He waited 6 or 7 seconds until he's unspotted. That's just not good enough. And of course, Meritorious in the T62 just managed to peek over and get the shot out. And maybe Oops just didn't expect him to be up that that southern flank. So bit surprising mistakes there from Insane. A man who's played really, really well for his team so far this season.
I'm curious as to what his mentality was going into that choice, but still, gonna have to live with the consequences now. Oops, as they are down a tank, so it's now pretty much even and level pegging to a degree. Honey doing good work spoiling these guys out, but already people are starting to maybe pay attention here, and Oops are on the defending side, so to a degree they can sit back here, but what does DiNG have going for them in this instance?
Well, DiNG obviously have that tier 10 tank. They're also playing around the map very nicely. They're playing objectively, but you can see Oops is in defensive positions, and yeah, okay, with that 10-minute timer, up from 7, they have more time to play around with, but still they have the lower ground. They still have to go for it, and we've seen this tactic 2 or 3 times this season so far, and it hasn't worked out at all, basically, because the team with the higher ground can just sit there as long as they don't lose patience. And even if they do lose patience, they can choose a side, the north or the south of that middle of that left side cliff area, and they just push it with all their tanks, go forwards, get the overmatches and take them down. And Mary now spotted, they know they can still get a 6 versus 6.
But it does worry me when they've got tanks already splitting towards the southeast on their own. I guess they're trying to predict a little something, as people are loving shadows.
Yeah, Shadow was changed a little bit this patch.
So towards the southeast go on the bad shots there, and I kind of like this from Oops. They're kind of, I guess, hedging their bets. They're not going to just kind of supplement everyone in towards one place. Mary's going to be found actually by Fussy here, and it's a really nice angle he's got. He's got one more shell to be made here at very least. No, tell a lie. Mary's going to maybe live to fight another day, but he knows he's in trouble here, and I don't know how much he can do to get away from this.
I'm not sure exactly what DiNG are doing right now. I mean, they
look lost.
I think at the beginning they had that initial advantage against Insane. I think they should just reset the fight for like a minute and then just gone in and made a play for this. I think they're trying to stay safe, keep Murakar just playing around the map, but of course he got shot there by Grosser, so he knows that he can't really go forwards, and he's just perma-spotted. He's just continually being clicked up, and it's just bad news for him, and another shot just bounces off Grosser. So I like the way that Oops has stayed calm, collected, and just not broken at all. And I think we'll be seeing a move obviously out from DiNG, because they are on the attacking side, so they're the ones who need to go forwards to kill all the tanks of Oops or cap one of the 2 caps, which basically never happens on Cliff. It's super hard considering the size of the map and just the terrain features of it.
Even in the old game mod, it was very rare to see a cap ever happening. It used to be a lot faster pace. As you said, it was quite an aggressive map to a degree. You saw that middle ground battle happening more often than not. But it's nice to see a little bit more of a different approach, but I don't know how well it's going to work for DiNG. As you said, they're taking a lot of damage here. They're not seeming so focused. And really, there's no encouragement for Oops to make a counterplay at the moment. They're relatively safe. As long as they don't get worked down slowly, that's the only threat here. With that additional couple of, I guess, seconds really, or maybe a couple of minutes to the timer, there is the possibility of being able to work them down over time. But at the moment, they're staying relatively safe. Damner's going to take a little bit, maybe needless damage there. Trying to adjust around and play safe, trying to turn towards it, but got to be a little cautious here. As DiNG are lining themselves up, they do have a relatively good position. You can see how many people are trying to pick him up.
Yeah, Damner's not in a great position at all. He probably should just vacate this area, since Duck of Death is basically doing the same job, and Somewhere is also keeping that ramp area safe and secure. So, it's just some good peeks out here from DiNG against Damner's. Fair enough to him, fair enough to them. Yep. But it's nothing crucial. I mean, as long as he doesn't fall, then he should be okay. And another quick little snap there from Hognick. Highest damage he did from this season so far for all teams.
Wow.
But nothing really substantial. And you can see the SDB turret, especially with that heat ammo, just can absorb. It can actually bounce quite a lot, which I think a lot of people underestimate when they're playing against that tank. Also notice down south, Fussy Eater starting to roam a little bit in the bat chat. He's starting to find an angle. He's actually been spotted there. Now that does open some weakness up, but he can sit up behind here, stay safe behind this kind of rocky area. And DiNG are a little bit worried, because of course the walls are starting to close. Even Oops is getting confident that they can go forwards.
But here we go. DiNG are going to try and make the counterplay, make the most of seeing a tank out of position, knowing there's at least 2 up towards the north as well. Try and overwhelm Somewhere, take the objective fight, and now Duck of Death is actually pinned in. He's got 3 tanks staring him down, and Diplomat lands a shot back to back. Duck of Death is going to be picked up here, and a really good read of the situation again from DiNG, but they're taking damage for this. It's not for free, so Oops is still in the lead by a good chunk of HP by this point. Now Hocknick going to try and back off the hill. Murakar going to be picked up by Somewhere, and finally Oops are closing the net. They're starting to close in here. They're starting to find the objective weaknesses on the other side. Get those overmatches. Now Somewhere, one more shell, lands it cleanly, and we're going to see the cleanup crew coming out from Oops, and DiNG just falling one by one here. They tried to find an overmatch, it seemed, but they didn't expect this much of a crossfire to be waiting to greet them.
Yeah, and Fussy Eater got back very quickly to a position where he can actually help his team out, and of course with that bat chat, as long as his team does some work towards these players that are pushing, he's going to be able to finish off the game quite nicely. And yeah, even Rulzek's going to get set on fire. The highest damage dealer from the previous round when of course DiNG were playing Tornado Rulzek had an absolute blast of a game. But yeah, it's going to be game over. Diplomat makes his last shell for the next 35 seconds, and surely he will fall. Fussy Eater does pick that one up, and Oops putting their second round on the board here on Cliff.
Really good play from Oops as well. I liked it. I could see what DiNG were trying to do in the end. But still, I'm very impressed with the fact that they dealt with it well. They didn't panic. They didn't get flustered and go, okay, they're making the counter move. We've got 2 tanks in the north, 1 towards the south. Are we kind of screwed here? No, they still held the crossfire. They still got the damage done. A really well played out round by them. I'm actually thoroughly impressed with Oops so far.
Yeah, I think to be honest, Oops is playing a very good game. I mean, looking at the mistakes from DiNG, I think they should have seen the 50B and thought, okay, we can actually get up into forward positions in that middle area and make some good damage with those E50s, for instance, and just push that position, considering the MX50B slightly slower than those mediums. So they could have won it in that way. But they didn't. They decided to go for that western side, that southern tactic, and it just didn't work out, of course, at the beginning. Despite Meritorious taking down Insane, they basically got a tier 10 tank down for free. They lost Shockish, which I don't think they really expected or hope they,
Yeah, didn't write that into the plan,
Exactly,
right?
kind of. And I think that's where their tactic was, revolving around a little bit. And then you had a situation where, Insane went down, but then Meritorious got taken down quite low by Fussy Eater. So they started to lose these exchanges left, right, and center, and just gave a little bit too much freedom towards the players from Oops. And yeah, I didn't really see any secondary plan from them either.
So now, I guess bringing it back to, I guess a review, right? Overall, let's bear in mind Oops were on the defending side, but I never felt Cliff gave that much to attack and defense, because normally there was that brawl in the middle to a degree, which kind of, okay, some sides had an advantage of getting into positions earlier, they could maybe take the hill control a little bit sooner or get into certain spots, and of course the time's on one side's team. But I've never seen it being this much of a factor, at least in my eyes, where it's like, okay, well, they only got those 2 rounds because they're on the defense. I think you can still work around it. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that when Oops go on the attack now, they can keep this up? Or do you think, okay, they were resting a little bit on being on the defense? Or how do you feel they're going to play now they're going to switch sides?
Well, I think in general, I mean, on Cliff, it's actually quite normal for a team just to pick up 2 rounds in a row. Okay. It's one of those maps. I mean, we've seen it. I think this is the 3rd or 4th time now where we've seen just two rounds back to back. Whereas some other maps we've seen, even if the teams are really even if the teams are quite far apart, it's like a 1-to-1. So, really looking forward to that. I mean, of course, Steps, the next map, is going to be pretty hard here.
I just forgot it was like 1-to-1. I forgot it was like attack and defense.
Yeah, we switched now. 754, just 2 rounds on each map.
It's almost Christmas, guys. Like, you need to be nice to me, okay? Like,
yeah, it's true.
Just real slow day for Lauren, okay? But still, no, 2 rounds back to back. Then actually, that negates my point because Oops just proved that they can do it on both sides. Yeah. Wow, okay. There's me eating humble pie.
But the thing is, I mean, as I said, it's Cliff, and we have seen a lot of 2-0 results on it, even if the teams are pretty close. So, obviously now on Steps, where DiNG is going to be starting on the attack, they got a 50-50 chance. I think the map obviously hasn't changed since last season.
Ollie.
Well,
it's as good as my hosting.
No, 50-50 chance. As in, last season we saw about 51% going towards the attacker on this map. Okay. So it's a really balanced map, and yeah, okay, these are different tanks, different format, but the principles are the same.
So are we seeing them delaying the timing on this to make sure that no one's pre-firing?
Blind shotting, yeah.
So that's a nice little kind of comeuppance, because you saw in the recap of last week.
Yeah, exactly. We saw that a lot from last week. And also the fact that DiNG have got an artillery piece, they're obviously worried about getting one shot.
You can't really blame them as well, like, let's be honest here. And it's Merry who's playing that one, so looking forward to seeing how he performs in that. I forget that he does
the shots
occasionally
coming
pick it up.
Nah, I wasn't into that place.
Not towards that corner. So Merry will have to judge you later on. But for now, Downless is in position. The 251 placed up on towards that. But DiNG heading towards the kind of southeast, relatively staying close to Merry. They're not overly committing without him. But what do you see them going for here? Are they just trying to take early control? They're making sure there's no counterplay? What's their initial steps?
Well, I think they were just trying to get some blind shots there at the beginning. They've got plenty of time to play around with and see if they can spot anything. And just look for that right side. Of course, I think they're going to end up pushing just because you can see the M53, M55 heading towards the right side. They've also got tanks up the K line, K7 to K9. So, those positions are great fallback positions to shoot down. And they've got the back check just in case of the rotate. So I think we'll be seeing some sort of push from DiNG over towards there, which kind of makes sense considering the trench is, you're shooting down into the trench, and as soon as you're shooting down, you're changing the trajectory of the shell, so it lands more on top of the tank. It's easier to hit.
What are Oops up to?
I think they're expecting this. Yeah, they are 100% expecting this. There's a little bowl there. You can't see it from this angle, but they're kind of hull down.
Angle observers.
They're kind of hull down in that position. So they can shoot across.
Okay, so attacking themselves into the defilade. Shockish is going to be in for a shock soon if what the hell just happened? Well, they finally get the damage done, but that was a little late than maybe they'd have wanted at this point, and now they're in a little bit of trouble here. Pretty
sure they couldn't hit them.
Did they just miss, or did they just not hit properly?
No, I don't think they could hit in that position.
Oh, that's a bit awkward. Now, Duck of Death is looking to finish the job, but it's actually Damnus to get it in the end. So that 2-5-1 popped up into position. Words are hard. Is paying dividend. But now here comes the counter player. DiNG going to just walk into this. They're going to try and take a little bit of the higher ground. You've got the batch chat towards the northwest as well, trying to hold the flank. Make sure they don't have complete freedom, but he has to be relatively careful as well. He can be overwhelmed. But now I'm looking to see how Oops deals with this, because their initial plan kind of didn't go to plan.
Oh, that beautiful shell for Meritorious, and that's exactly the right position for him. It's such an easy shot to make across. And Damnus really needs to do some work here because his team is starting to crumble.
Yeah, they really are. Where is the counter forces at this point? Mary's going to have a whale of a time. 3 tanks in a nice close proximity. Wait to see those arcing shells come in. Fussy going to take a real face full of the action. He's down to 1 shot now. That's an easy pickup from Diplomat, leaving somewhere in the middle of nowhere at the moment, as he is going to be beaten down and broken. Down to 1 more shot. That STB one going to close out real comfortably as we're down to 3 tanks for Oops. And this is kind of backfired here.
Yeah, this has backfired horribly for them. They tried to go forwards, but of course they went off into a very awkward situation. But I mean, the thing is, Damnus is still going to be able to do work from up into that position. I mean, he's got to be careful because the team is now dead, so they can, they can all aim at him. But Insane going in.
I think Insane's just done. He's like, I just want to, get this round over with. Just throw me to the wolves. Cool. And as you said, he at least took one down with him, but still, it's a 1v4. Now, I wouldn't actually write it out of the realm of possibility if Hulknig wasn't so well off at the moment. Damnus is going to have to be really delivering, and Mary's got a shell now. I'm wondering if it's going to land. Here we go. He's going to put it to place. Damnus. Ooh, you are damn lucky, if I'm completely honest. That just arced a little too early and landed just on the lip of that cliff, leaving Damnus in the situation where it's going to be hard for him to work this one out. The cap's going to come in pretty soon if they need it to. Sure, he can maybe reset a couple of times, but he knows that this is going to be an uphill struggle at minimum.
He must have done some disgusting damage here, though. I mean, seriously.
Oh, yeah. It's been constant.
He's just pounding out those 250 damage shells for the last 4 minutes of this game. Like, I reckon like 4K or something stupid like that. He's just being an absolute beast right now. It's just a shame because his team has done nothing, and they just pushed into a situation where they were below a depression, and the other team was on top of the depression. They can just, of course, get the nice shots down onto them. So easy stuff. And yeah, Mary's going to come on for lead now.
Is someone going to spot out Damnus anytime soon? Just lining it up, waiting for this one. Shot comes out, but Damnus still not lit up here. Mary might just take the shot soon enough, but at the moment the cap's still underway. A couple more seconds on that, and Damnus knows he's just trying to do everything he can at this point.
He's trying to get those stat pads.
Exactly. Guys, there's lots of damage. How did we lose?
Exactly, that's what he's going to be saying to his team.
It's the standard conversation. Like, God, I had like 10 kills. How? Mary's just like waiting this out. Like, I don't even need to shoot.
No.
Last second. Go on. There we go. And yes.
No, wrong position.
Yeah, he went for it. But in the end, it was a victory for DiNG, closing out well. And really, the initial plan coming from Oops was just not that great.
No, I thought they actually had an interesting tactic because they had the STBs in this kind of depression area. And I thought they were all aiming to like a cross, like a small window of like maybe 15, 20 meters where they could all shoot at the same time. But none of them shot. I think they probably couldn't hit the top of that 432. Maybe it's just too low to the ground. And so they all had to reverse and make one shot across towards him, and it just wasn't enough. But I just want to have a look at Damnus' damage. 3,088.
It's not 4K, but it's enough to moan at your other teammates going, guys, where were you?
I mean, the rest of his team was doing like 1.6, so. Yeah, as a tier 8 tank, he kind of carried a little bit.
Hard carry coming out from Damnus. But not exactly the best execution. So currently scoreline is, what, 2-1?
Yeah.
Now, DiNG have got their first round on the board here. And they didn't particularly look tested, if I'm honest. Mary, how much did Mary do in that game?
1.8k with 2 kills.
That's not too bad. But the thing is that he made it hard work for them to stay into those positions. We saw some really interesting pickups from him as well.
I mean, he did the damage he needed to do and gave his team the overmatch situation, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, you love artillery, don't you?
I
It's
do.
like
I
anyone
do
in
love it.
artillery who doesn't do awful, he's like, yeah, good guy.
Yeah,
Proud
good
of
guy.
you.
I love it.
Proud of him.
It's good stuff.
It was like, I just remember when it used to not be in play and Ollie's a little tear
Yeah, I
just
know.
rolled down. I was like, please, artillery.
I die
please
inside a
come
little
back.
bit every time it's not picked up.
It's so viable these days, so it makes sense. So we'll just be going back in onto the other half now because, you know, I can actually count this time. Excuse me, because I was a little bit dim on the previous one. But let's check out the lineup, see what we're going into the second half with here. Anything standing out to you, or pretty much the same thing as before?
Of course, we got the Lorraine from Insane, the best player, artillery player right now
Lorraine, insane.
in the league, probably.
Insane.
Good old, good rhyming there.
Yeah, I'm proud of myself, if I'm
Slim
honest.
Shady, Slim Lauren. And the
I was before, not anymore.
M53, M55 from Meritorious. So both teams have artillery, which is not all too common. We do see it a few times. We have seen it a few times, but it's not the most common thing in the world. And it does come about, you know, which artillery can hit first, which artillery is the best one. But of course, Lorraine the Lorraine is a tier 8, and the M50, M53, M55 is a tier 9.
So, Boosty Boost is going to come out. Shockish going around there. And these guys aren't delaying it, which could have been a problem. There's not anyone really lining up the shots at this point, but on the other hand of things, Oops
Here
is
comes
just
the
gonna fire
artillery
forward.
shell.
And nice work.
Wrecked.
2 for 1.
That's insane.
That's beautiful. That is literally insane as well. That was absolutely lovely. Literally a 2 for 1 shot coming through. And observers, please. This is why you're in the back room. But no, that was absolutely beautiful. But still, the boost is going to come out, but great damage dealt already. Good prediction. And didn't overly commit for it. He's already back with the team, already readjusted, waiting to do more damage.
Well, so close to the engine bay. I would have loved that. 1.2k would have been, but I think he can be happy with that. 2 tanks damaged and 1 shell. Doesn't really get any better than that. So great stuff at the start here for Oops. I mean, I think, to be honest, I mean, looking at what they did in the previous round, I'm like, okay, so they had a bad round. I think they kind of screwed up. I think they realized they screwed up a little bit. I think they made a very bad call. I'm hoping they can steady themselves here a little bit and get back into the swing of things as they are heading up north, which is, of course, the exact opposite thing which DiNG did last time. And they are 100% aware as well that there's a tank that's been boosted up because, of course, that shell disappears when you hit something, whereas when you don't, it splashes against the dust and you can see the dust getting kicked up. So, yeah, I mean, a good start, also good, some good spots. And I think right now, I mean, Oops is just going to be playing that time, 3 or 4 minutes of just blind shotting or shooting towards those spotted tanks and seeing what they can find.
And how long between shots for Insane, if you know
About
this?
22 seconds.
22. Okay, and then what for Merry?
Like 40.
Okay. It's good to have a man who knows his artillery here, because I had absolutely no clue. It's not even like something we considered back when we first started casting Wild Tanks, because it was literally not even in the game.
And of course, I mean, the M53, M55, like, the good thing about it is it's got such a wide firing angle, so you don't have to readjust at all. So you can basically just shoot the whole map without, you know, changing direction at all, which of course resets your reticle. But it's really inaccurate. It also takes a long time to reload, whereas Insane, slightly worse firing angle, but very easy to use indeed.
Well, easy to use, we'll see. Already doing marvellous stuff with that at the start of the game, but that is only the opening moves. It's not the biggest thing in the world. It's certainly not over yet. As DiNG, they are trailing in a little bit of HP, but no one down, you know, directly. No one's been focused down just yet. Holdnick did get pulled forward because of the cap having, you know, been toyed with. But in the south, we're going to be seeing the counter move coming out as well. That's International heading through with one other, just towards that southern side. Maybe going to get some map presence and go for the close-in down the line. Yeah,
Holdnick's going forwards. I mean, the interesting thing is that we actually saw Grosser do a similar thing and get absolutely destroyed in a previous match. Holdnick's also, you know, suffering a similar fate. He's down to about 926 HP. Well, 926 HP exactly. And eventually, if he keeps on getting lit here, he's going to be taken down by probably Insane. I think he might have a small angle here. Murakar's also been spotted, so I'm liking that from every single angle. Oops is keeping pressure on. They're making sure they're maintaining map control. They're trying to spot as much as they can for Insane. But still, I mean, 6 minutes and 20 seconds, they do need to be looking towards a cap. And while Holdnick's in that position, it's not going to be possible for them to use the northern capital, basically.
Yeah, Insane's going to be the man to try and, I guess, weaken them down, just chip away at them as much as possible. But really, the others, as you said, need to be spotting them out. They need to be starting to formulate a plan here, because they've really not taken that much damage at all, if any, by this point. But they do need to start committing something, and it looks like actually they're turning their attention towards the south. Now, there are 3 tanks already down here, roughly for DiNG. Now, whether or not they're going to be aware of this counterplay or vice versa is yet to be seen, but Holdnick, There's going to be some angles found on him pretty soon, but the spot's coming out. Grosser has been spotted. So the turrets will be turned, and we're going to see what they can bring on the other side of here. The STV1 going to make a shot, but none connecting so far. Diplomat America are going to be letting him slip, and International is there hopefully to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, there's a lot of tanks down there on the right side for both teams, so I guess it's whoever just gets the good pickups here. But of course, International being in that position in K7 is going to be very crucial towards DiNG's success in this next few minutes. And if this does break, it will be very much game over here for DiNG. Good shot there from Grosser, the team captain for Oops. But the rest of this team is getting in position, of course, with that T110E5 as well. Like, if that tank gets hull down, it's going to be impossible to take down unless Meritorious lands a few miracle shells.
Okay, let's see how this one goes, because we basically got an even matchup, excluding where that player in the hill is, which, well, has been moved off. So we are into an even situation. This is down to pretty much finding those good angles, trying to work out the best way to overcome the opponents. And good target focus coming down towards International. He gets sent packing. 1k damage done towards him, and look at this counterplay trying to come out. Oops are looking deadly in this one, and they're holding the ground. International flexed away from that spot and got punished for it, and more damage coming in. Gross is going on the wide sweep. He's looking to come around the backside. He's going to have a perfect lineup soon, but the foe comes out as well. It's a 3v2. Somewhere is in trouble, and this is a perfect pickup from DiNG. They're so low, but they're doing the damage somehow. At this point, it takes one tank to turn this, though, and they need to start dealing those final blows, because Oops are trailing in numbers. They're starting to lose out in HP, and this is looking a little disastrous.
I mean, that was a great shot there onto Meritorious. I think he almost one-shot one of those Object 140s, actually the STB, so that really gave DiNG the edge in this fight.
And they're still looking to make the most of it. Rulzik is not going down without a fight either. He's taking them all the way through. Fussy will have a shell about at the same time, but Insane coming in with the pickup, saving the day. A clean kill there is certainly going to help them out at this point. But still, Hucknick falling is pointed to a 4v3 in favor to Oops, and Shockish has just kind of walked into a bit of a bad situation. Trying to take these guys on one-to-one might be an issue here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that Object 430's got a decent reload, but it's no match for an Object 140. They've got about the same amount of HP, let's be honest.
Insane's got a
but
shell as
Shockish's
well.
actually got an Amarak as well, so he's going to be having the double reload. And obviously, Oops is not aware of that as International comes off reload.
Yeah, International has been the man keeping this one just about together for DiNG. He took a lot of damage after he moved off of this position, but he's gone back there. He's got some eyes on the cover, but with every second that passes, Insane is getting closer to another shell as well. He missed the first one towards Shockish, but it's buying time here, and Fussy's got a shell to make, as does Duck. And International has two more left in that
Great
chamber.
timing for an International to actually reverse there. Perfect timing, knowing that Lorraine was going to come off reload. Great stuff from him to get out of that bit of an awkward and easy shot for that team, for that player.
Yeah, Mary seemed a little bit quiet this time, and he's being hunted down, which is going to be an issue. That T62A has just gone past him. Did they not spot each other out here?
No, that was perfect timing as
What?
well for Meritorious. He literally turned the corner when Silence just drove past.
That's perfect. Whether or not he notices this is beyond the point, but still, can he do any work here? Can he try and help them out and dig them out of this bit of a situation? Both teams are relatively depending on this, but already Silence has found International. It's traded out with Mary finding Duck of Death, but oh, Insane again! You highlighted this guy as someone to watch in the artillery, and he has been paying off every single time here. You know, I was giving a little bit of credit, I guess, to Mary, but now this is a problem. He needs to somehow stay alive. 2 minutes left. He's pretty far away. But then again, they've still got a good couple of tanks in this one. Fussy and Silence can hunt him down, but they're going to start the cap. Smart play again from Insane. Yeah, it's not exactly the best place for him to be, but he's going to get the cap started, and Mary's going to have to land some miracle shots here.
Yeah, I mean, that's the easy stuff from him. He can just sit there and make sure that he can at least guarantee the win, kind of, and have the rest of his team go for the cap. Now, I guess the interesting thing is, I mean, when I was playing artillery a lot, I always put coated binocular telescopes, so that 25% view range buff. So if there's ever a situation where you have artillery versus artillery, which happens more than you think, you are always going to be the one getting the spot first, so you have the advantage there. You can actually shoot across. Most artillery pieces don't have the greatest view range in the world, so a little bit surprised that he's gone for the rammer and the gun laying drive. So to see if that one works out, and of course the spore liner as well, which is ramming damage and HE damage for splashes, but Meritorious is trying to peek.
To be fair, he could make this really difficult if he lands one shell on this.
But he's not spotted the other team.
Exactly.
He's been
So
spotted there.
it's, as I said, a miracle shot would have been needed, and it doesn't come in, and Insane adds another one. to his list of accomplishments in that map, and that was beautifully played by him. And that has really opened things up in this game now. What, 3-1?
Yeah, 3-1. Oops are starting to walk away with this one a little bit. I mean, that was a well-fought round as well. Let's be honest here. They really fought for that one. I mean, there was mistakes from both teams. I mean, I can't really call them mistakes because you got to make some calculated decisions. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. But I mean, they made sure that even when they were, at a disadvantage, they still made the play work. They still went forwards. They found some sort of secondary objective and they took it down. So, I mean, really good stuff. Straight away from when they made the blind shot onto those two tanks getting getting boosted up.
So nice.
We were like, yeah, okay, this is going well for them.
And how did Insane do overall?
2.4k with 3 kills, and Mary with 1.2k and 2 kills.
The thing for me is, it's not necessarily the damage done or along those lines, or even the kills to a degree. It's the fact of, were they important kills to that situation? I think that was highlighted perfectly by Insane in this one. Picking up kills where his team were either in like a kind of standoff, so like a 2v2, or any of these situations, maybe 3v2 and such, he'd even the score and just set them up for a perfect place to actually be able to push further. And I think this is probably one of the best displays of artillery to supplement a team's performance I've seen in a long time. So nicely done, Insane, and putting your team in a great spot, if I'm completely honest. 3-1 is a perfect stance so far for Oops, and a bit of an upset, I think, so far. Yeah, they're in 4th, but DiNG have been 2nd, and DiNG have been really good this season. So kind of curious on that one. But Melly, how are the people at home finding this? Because if I'm a little surprised, I can imagine maybe they are as well.
Definitely. I mean, the votes, if we see like the voting result on where the teams, where the community has to decide which team they're going for, it's clearly in favor of DiNG. What means clearly? It's 55%. So it's more or less even, but with a slight shift to DiNG's side. But if we check, that's why I was so confused at the start. If we have a closer look on the entries, it's more in favor of Oops.
Really?
So it's weird. So a lot of people are voting for DiNG, but predicting the score in favor of Oops.
Interesting.
Yeah, maybe they want to say we like DiNG, but Oops got this.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I can't tell you what's going on their minds. So people, hashtag WGLEU, enlighten me, please. So no 5-1 at least.
No.
I think people are starting to like Oops, to be honest.
Yeah, and I can't really blame them.
But I mean, they're still voting for DiNG, so that's...
Yeah.
Who knows what's going on in the mind of Twitch chat?
No one knows.
Audience.
And I'm not sure if I want to know, to be honest. But well, our Twitch chat is awesome. I'm going with that.
Twitch chat, Twitch mods, awesome people.
Kappa Pride.
I love it. But yeah, we're moving into our next map already, Himmelsdorf.
And at 3-1, you've got to put this kind of towards Oops' favour. I wouldn't say it's been a clean game, but they've been playing with a stronger hand than DiNG has been. But then again, this is a classic map where you'd expect maybe a more classic team to be able to come up with the goods. But do you think we're going to see artillery here? Is that even an option anymore?
No, not on Himmelsdorf.
Okay, because the irony being, that was one of the first maps we saw it coming back on with Arclit.
Yeah, we've seen it. We've seen it in the WGLEU, I think, or the Asian League, where one of the teams brought a small artillery piece to get resets, which is fair enough. No, it wasn't. But I mean, yeah, it's still viable for getting resets. It's a simple thing. We saw it in 754, of course, as you mentioned in the season finals. But I mean, I think this is Oops' pick. And let's be honest here. I mean, after that result against Synergy, that's where I was like, holy hell, these guys are actually good. These guys are impressive. I'm talking about Oops right now. So they got a 2-0 result against Synergy on this one. So I'm looking to see if they can actually have a repeat performance, of course, starting here on the defensive side.
And I think someone might need to remind them that, because already that 1390 going walkabouts here. Shockish going to spawn them out, so the two 1390s kind of getting a glimpse of each other. Flying across this map as well. Honey wants to take this fight. Look at this guy just swinging around. Shockish might be a little surprised, but Honey's going to be receiving that shot first and foremost. He does finally make it into that little cubby in towards the corner, and Shockish will have to commit for the shot off the back now. But it does mean that he does keep at least a good tab on that 8 line.
Yeah, he's got his driver taken out, actually, and he's already used his repair kit, but Shockish now in some serious trouble. Of course, Honey can just make a little peek around and take him out. Shockish a little bit late to turn that turret, but doesn't get punished for it, so he's okay as long as he keeps himself clear of Honey's gun. Well, DiNG pretty much just holding fast on that hill, and to be honest, I mean, the FE215B, a Duck of Death, is kind of a sore thumb right now. Like, he's on his own trying to shoot Honey, so I wouldn't be surprised to see DiNG just trying to come off that hill as quickly as possible to take advantage of that out-of-place tank.
Yeah, and they're going to be surely ringing alarm bells now for Oops because they have tanks pretty much throughout this map and not spotted anyone until now. They're going to spot out that IS-7 and be like, okay, guys, they've got to be on that 0 line. They have to be pushing towards that northern side of the cap, and they are. Shockish is once again in trouble. He's gone down, which does give some control over towards Oops, so they can work back in off the A line if they want, but they're a little late to this, I feel. Now, they're all going to be spotted out here for DiNG. You know, the plan is certainly noted, but how much damage can Oops do here?
I think they can't do much considering the positioning from, well, how much damage can Oops do? A lot. I mean, DiNG can't do much damage, let's be honest here. They are kind of in a strange position, but nice shells onto Damnus here at the beginning. Diplomat, of course, in that Waffentrager Alpha E100. Truly beast of a tank, and both teams have one, which is a little bit unusual. You usually see the defensive teams picking them up. But nice peeks at the moment from DiNG, and this is kind of like what Kasna did against Tornado Rocks. They swung off the hill after the other team had swung off the hill. Of course, that's the Batchat going up for Insane.
Yeah, so the Batchat and the 1390 probably going to head up there. Two tanks that have relatively incredible movement speed at this point. They're going to be heading through real fast, but it does give a lot of control over towards DiNG at this stage. Now, a little bit of damage coming in. Rulesec going to be receiving that, but it's going to be Insane with a shot towards Hulknick to start off with. Both spotted out now. Now the plan is up. So where does DiNG take this one? They've got options aplenty, but Oops are back in position now, but they are trailing a touch in HP.
Yeah, but this is a problem, of course. I mean, Hulknick can shoot towards the cap, whereas Insane can only really shoot towards Hulknick, so he's definitely in control of that situation. But Insane now going for that D-line shot. He might be able to find an angle onto Rulesec.
Yeah, this is good. He's found an option here. As you said, it was a fairly one-dimensional position until now, if he can make some of these shots count. He's just about... Has he got the gun depression?
No, he doesn't have the gun depression, unless he turns around like that.
Just like he's doing. We'll see if it works. Anyway, still, the cap has certainly gone some way here, so there has to be a counterplay in the making very soon, but most of the avenues of attack are being relatively kept safe. But nice shot there. Going to keep it in check for a little while longer. That was towards Mary, of course. As a fire comes in, none really connecting. That clock is going to get quite low here. Yeah,
for sure. Now Mary's been reset. I mean, Murakawa needs to get reset at some point in time. He's basically got all the capping points on. So there's only so many times they can use HE ammo against Mary Torres. Some shells actually coming from the AMX 1390, I believe, and Fuss Eater is going to have to push in.
Trundling forward in that Waffle Tiger. He's going to be looking to do a lot of damage in this one, and Murakawa going to be watching this, though. The first damage does come out, but they pushed away the cap. So they've kept that safe for now, but now they have to be able to deal the damage elsewhere, and it looks like Oops is struggling to actually commit these shots and focus someone down, but someone did find Rulesec, so it's certainly not over yet, and Fussy's going to be doing a great deal of damage. Got to be careful, though. Pressure from the backside. Those IS-7s were not pressuring that 6-line enough. He has to now turn attention, gets a nice little shot towards Murakawa, and now suddenly Oops are keeping this one in check. They're actually up on HP. They've got a lot of tanks still in play, and DiNG, who had the advantage, had this game into some degree of control, have started to lose out here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Fussy Eater got all of his shells out, so 4,250 damage done. That's all you can ask from that man. Let's see if he can stay alive a little longer, as Insane has got the back of Hulknick.
And now there's pressure left, right, and center. Look at this coming through. Murakawa does finally take down Fussy, but while that happens, the tides are still turning in favor to Oops. They have the tanks alive. It would take a big performance from the remaining players from DiNG to pull this one back through. You're seeing the IS-7s who've just kind of proving themselves in this instance, as finally Diplomat does get Duck of Death down.
But he's actually on reload now, so he's got 50 seconds thereabouts to reload, and that's not really going to be enough here. It's going to be too much, actually. DiNG only have 1,500 hit points, and Honey's having a little bit of a game against Mary.
He's having a great time. He's got 2 shells still to make it, so he's going to be happy. Just keeping him busy. Grosser found 1. You know, Mary did catch out Honey, but look at this. Hulknick is down to nothing. He's a strong breeze would take him down, let alone Damnus removing Mary already in there somewhere, predicting the shot on the corner. And Oops. What a scoreline coming out from these guys. I thought that game was for DiNG. I saw their move. I saw it come into place. Oops were a little late. No, they kept it in check, and I'm thoroughly impressed.
Yeah, I thought really nice stuff. I mean, I think the breaking point was the fact that when Fuss Eater went forwards in that Waffentrager Alpha E100, he made the right call to shoot the FE215B because they could actually get him down very low. And then he went to Damnus in the IS-7. Not Damnus, who was in the IS-7? I think Murakawa in the I-7 on that corner, yeah. He just got punished by Fuss Eater in that tank, and he just got all his shells out. He did 3,000 damage, bounced a couple, I think, but I mean, he really started to sway the tide in terms of HP over towards Oops. And then you had the IS-7s just peeking that corner, finding the box and just shooting down the tanks that are sitting there for DiNG. Insane coming off the hill, Honey coming off the hill as well. Those 2 auto-loading tanks just doing great stuff. And, Duck of Death, just the one who was side-scraping with 3.1k damage. So, yeah, okay, it's the defensive side on Himmelsdorf. Like, it's still pretty one-sided. I think we saw like 60% of the time it went towards the defense. But they did well to hang on. Now they're a match point.
Yeah, 4-1. I'm glad I don't bet in this game because I'd be kind of screwed. But yeah, I've got to say, everything Oops are doing is really impressive. I'm surprised DiNG hasn't punished them more because it's not been the most robust performance. It's not like you can't see there's weaknesses in what Oops are bringing, but DiNG are not being able to punish them in any way. I'm really impressed, but I want to see what they do on the attack now because, of course, as you said, it is a defensively biased map, not to the highest margin, but, relatively so. It's still, if you're on the defending side, you feel as though, okay, well, we can relax in this one. But then again, Oops did take quite the aggressive stance to a degree, pushing down the west side of the map and trying to get some sort of control. I like the play overall. I'm surprised Honey lasted so long as well, considering he was that 1390 who kind of flung himself in there at the very start against the other 1390. So all in all, highly impressive stuff. But it does mean that now, of course, Oops are on to match point. 4 rounds to their favour, and sadly for DiNG, only 1. So if DiNG want to bring this back, it's a long road to go. I don't see it happening, but the teams are almost prepared. So guys, use that hashtag WGLEU. Let us know your thoughts on Oops' performance today, because I think I'm going to be becoming a fan after this one. I have to try, maybe buy a t-shirt or something, during the Christmas break, treat myself, something like that. I don't know. But do you think this one's going to be over in this one, or do you think we're going to the next map?
Well, they're on the attack, so, technically DiNG should be able to hold on and get another round on the board at least. But, the momentum obviously clearly in favour of Oops. So, I think if you're going to play the odds, DiNG should get this round. But, Oops have been playing such a fantastic round. They seem to have good tactics for every single map, every single side of each map, which is just fantastic. So, if they can execute this plan, whatever it is, I think they'll be able to win it on this one, but of course, we still have another couple of maps to play at least. So T54 going on the hill, Fussy Eater's going to be joining him, so and the AMX-50B as well. The rest of the tanks looks like they're going towards that left side, and it is a pretty heavy lineup, a pretty hefty lineup from Oops with that E100, with the FE215Bs, with the IS-7, so they've got a lot of HP to play around with, and of course Grosser in that T10 as well. So yeah, pretty hefty. It looks like DiNG, starting from the north, of course, the defensive side, are spreading their tanks pretty thin, and Rulzek is looking towards that hill.
And have they switched out Honey here for someone else?
Yeah, they have, yeah. Sanyu.
Okay. Sanyu, let's see what you can do,
German.
buddy. You got a lot to live up to, I'm not going to lie. Honey had a really good performance so far, and we're going to see Diplomat and Rulzik locking this one down on that 0 line. And quite a slow start here for Oops on the attack. They're actually more passive than they were on the defending side.
It's true, yeah. Right now it's going to be Sanyu with T54 trying to spot out. He found Rulzek, but of course, there's always that mind game on the hill where it's like, okay, so I've spotted you, but what other tanks are actually are in your kind of vicinity? What other tanks you got hiding behind? And of course, that's Diplomat there in the Waffentrag Alpha 100. And Fussy Eater was briefly on the hill, but he's gone all the way to the bottom. So, Rulzek versus Sanyu, of course, Rulzek in the STB with like a 6-second reload for 390 damage. He's going to be able to win out that fight, and Sanyu knows that straight away. He's going to run away. But Rulzek, it'll be a bit risky if he pushes the hill because, the 50B is a tank which could easily be behind Sanyu. So, as long as you don't play your card too early, that's a mind game which Oops is winning, I think. They still have the hill, keeping the tanks at bay, and they're also pushing through the middle.
Yeah, they're starting to make a play here, and it is utilising the middle quite drastically, almost negating those Conquerors ×2 towards the northeast side on the end of that 8 line. But at the moment, Duck of Death, Grosser both getting into position relatively unscathed. We're seeing Damner's taking a touch of damage, but nothing to write home about just yet. As already DiNG playing this very standardly to my eyes.
Yeah, they're playing defensive, so they don't need to go forwards, they don't need to be aggressive here. Let's be honest, with that E100, it's a great side-scraping tank. I think whatever push comes out will be from that E100. It's a great tank when it's supported by other tanks, but on its own it can be a bit vulnerable from the side and other corners. But nice shot comes back in towards him from Damnus. And I think right now, Oops clearly just trying to find the corners, seeing what they can do. And a bit of side scrape between the 2 tier 9 tanks. And obviously that's going to be won out easily by Oops. They had so much committed to the middle that Just went straight across, and now Fussy Eater's on the hill.
Oh, no.
Ruleslick makes a play, but he doesn't know he's behind.
Yeah, this was the issue you said could be there earlier, and Fussy should be able to punish this one. And there we go, there's the damage. Ruleslick backing the hell away, but let's be honest here, that Waffle Tiger's still not in place. Ruleslick can go down for free. Sanyo wants to finish off the job, and if he gets it done quick, he might get away scot-free in this one. One more shell to be made. Sanyo takes out on the chin, and look at this Diplomat a little too late to the party, and hopefully for Oops' sake, they back away from this hill and don't outstay their welcome.
Yeah, I thought Sanyo will be able to get safe, surely. Actually, he's going forwards now. This is not good at all. Oh, is he? Is he going forwards? I think he's getting behind.
He's away. Yeah, he's just behind the rubble.
Yeah, Diplomat doesn't quite have the gun depression. Of course, that gun is truly fantastic in every basic way. But, yeah, I mean, even then, I mean, Sanyo can just... He can still maintain dominance. So Ruleslick made a play, he made a gamble. Very risky one. To be fair, Fussy Eater was at the bottom of the hill for quite a long time. Yeah. So maybe DiNG were thinking, okay, so Oops are pushing through the middle. They must have some support there from the 50B, but obviously the wrong call. And now they're down a tier 10 tank. And that's all you can really ask for when you're on the attack.
Yeah, and they got some good damage towards Mary early on, but now they need to start, you know, the late game play. This is what you need to start building towards. And Sanyo, I've been very impressed, you know, let's be honest here. Honey before did nicely, but you're seeing the effect of, you know, maybe playing a little safer, not taking the riskier gambles, but still, Grosser and Insane checking any avenue of attack here, but we are going to see the adjustment from DiNG, getting prepared possibly for that cap, or at least the pressure towards it.
Exactly, so, I mean, they can just filter through the middle. They've got nice control. They got the hill, which is going to be great, which means basically DiNG can't go into that second half of the map. That's from E1 down to K1, basically. Any part of that map they can't go into. So Oops knows where DiNG is. They've got their number. They can go forwards. They can make the plays. Of course, it's got to still worry about Diplomat. You know, he's had, you know, a very good few games. People playing that Waffentrager Alpha E100, but even him is going to be, you know, pretty easy to take down because Oops are quite far ahead. But still, you know, he could kill both Sanyo and Fussy to one clip if he does manage to find them both in an awkward position. But, you know, obviously both players will be able to stay safe for quite a long time. So I think for now, cap on the way nicely. A bit of bait from the front with the IS-7, the rest of the tanks in support.
Yeah, and I'm waiting to see the fold here. It looks like they're trying to set up on that zero line to support, of course, and maybe challenge down that Waffle Tiger and the Conqueror, quite possibly. But still, there is a counterplay as well happening on the 2 line, trying to push up and get a little bit of information. And that would be International, if I'm not mistaken, trying to do that sort of presence. But he can be overmatched very quickly here, and Damnus kind of thwarting him back at this point. Need to be careful here, as it looks like we're going to finally see the move from Oops coming out.
Yeah, Oops just charging through the middle. They know they can get the overmatch now because the IS-7's down there and the fact that they took down a tier 10 tank. So as long as they can keep control of Diplomat here in the Waffentrager, they will be able to get the tank's kills quite easily. I guess they don't have any kind of peripheral play here. There's got no 8-line play up the banana. So that's always going to be a risk. And Diplomat just being very patient right now as Oops starting to push forwards a little bit, probably expecting maybe a push down B.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see where this one really comes from, because the cap has started. Now, Diplomat is still not falling this. He's like, I know you guys are up there, and if he left control of this, there would be punishment off the back, but still, good bits of damage coming back towards Oops now. DiNG are not letting this one slip just yet, but this play is going to come down towards the south as well. International is now outnumbered. Whether or not they know that yet is going to be found out soon. He's got to be careful, backing away, but he gets tracked just about. Gets himself back into this. Damnus is going to be peeking out as well. International's in trouble, again held up. And this allows the chance for Somewhere to come into the action. Now, Diplomat needs to respond. He needs to keep this one going in DiNG's favor. Good work so far, hitting both shots. There's his third. Fussy goes down. Now, Sanyo outnumbered. This is exactly what you said could happen, but he doesn't get that final shot through. He leaves Sanyo in this, and Sanyo knows that he's got time on that reload now. He's going to push down, get some more dominance on this map. But so far, Oops are winning these battles across the map, and they still have that cap underway. Yeah,
great stuff here from DiNG. They're finally starting to get back into the game. Oops also playing well. I mean, it's going backwards and forwards between these two teams. Both teams have lost the tank, but still the directional firepower starting to come in. It's 3 versus 2.
It is indeed. Can they pull this one off? Murakar going to be pushed back as much as possible. He's trying to find an angle to negate one of the tanks, but no. Insane's found it, but now Somewhere might be traded out here. Somehow International has stayed alive, and God knows how, bearing in mind. You see Grosser just being a real nuisance towards Mary here, right in the back lines, and Mary knows he can't really do much about this, just like a fly, just buzzing around the back of his head as Somewhere looking for International. He has the shot and he takes it, beautifully done, and Oops going blow for blow here. It's a 4v3.
Yeah, that's a problem. I mean, that IS-7 is 11 seconds reload, whilst the FE is about 7 seconds. And that's really going to cost him, but Holdnick sets him on fire, but doesn't even kill him, so Holdnick should fall. Oh, he doesn't.
What? Somehow, somewhere didn't do enough damage in that instance and stays alive. So now 3v2. Let's take stock of this. We've got Diplomat and Holtnick left alive, Insane, Duck of Death and Grosser, and now we've got the cap going. But Diplomat's still in a good spot here.
Yeah, I mean, Diplomat's in a great spot. Of course, he can kill all these tanks. But I imagine Duck of Death, Insane, and Grossel will all be loading HE ammo. And of course, with that E100, you can do 910 damage with HE. So that's really going to punish Diplomat and it'll probably take down some of his modules. But he's still got to try anyway.
He has to pull this off. It's a 1v3 basically at this point because... And you can see Holtnick preparing to stay alive so they can't get the cap through in the end. But here we go. He takes down one. He needs to follow this back to back to back. He's taken too much and Duck of Death denies it and the cap can come through. Let's remind ourselves here, Holtnick is not close enough in my eyes to really do much in this instance. He might have a shot if he is extraordinarily quick, but by this point I feel as though this has got to go over to Oops.
Yeah, Oops are playing so well right now. They have this game in the bag. Holtnick a one-shot, as I said. I mean, I actually thought he was a bit lower HP. I thought he'd be one-shot beforehand, but turns out he wasn't. But still, the man who's been so dominant here for DiNG has got so much riding on his next few moves, but might not even enough time to actually get this one before the cap is completed.
6 seconds, 5. He had to take the perfect angle, and these guys are playing it well. Just positioned, so he'd have to commit. And ladies and gents, can you believe it? Oops have picked up the victory here. Absolutely outstanding performance, and DiNG, well, and Holtnick can do nothing but watch as that clock ran down. Love that play from start to finish, and I'm an Oops fan.
You're an Oops fan?
Yep.
Die taffen Giraffen. The tough giraffes. I mean, yeah. I mean, they are tough. They were gonna.
But it's like, that wasn't actually bad.
They were gonna throw in that last game. I thought they would throw in that way, but
Yep.
they managed to keep themselves sorted. And despite some misplays, they managed to get their tanks together and going towards an objective together. So yeah, really good stuff in the end.
I loved it from start to finish. Winning the battle on the hill, it was a bit of a risk. Rulzik kind of on the downside of that roll of the dice, I guess. He got picked up, but perfectly played off the back, and everything just fell into the right place. And I love a team who can play Himmelsdorf well. That's one thing that always does get the little box ticked in my eyes if they can get that one going. So especially on the attack of all things. But DiNG, considering they're second in the lead in this league so far, tied on points with Kasna, that is an underwhelming performance from them.
Yeah, I mean, an underwhelming performance from DiNG and an overwhelming performance from Oops. I mean, they showed everything there. They got tactics on open maps like steps. We got the city map also. We got the comeback from a throw with, just at the end with Falsi and Sanyo getting almost taken down by Diplomat. We got a kind of a mixed map there on Cliff. So we got all those boxes ticked there. And Oops just playing very well. I mean, individual ability was there, team performance there, tactic, strategy. Great stuff all around, and even some artillery skills also coming in on steps. So, yeah, I mean, DiNG obviously maybe underestimated Oops in this matchup a little bit and got punished quite severely.
Yeah, well, there's a couple more games to come through here, and so far the underdog have been picking up the victories, looking for their own Christmas cheer, making you work for those additional bonus codes and points that Melly promised you, and all of the other good stuff that she said you're going to get now. So if she doesn't deliver. There's like a German version of Santa Claus, but he's the bad one. It's not
Knecht Ruprecht.
What the hell did you just say? Wasn't it like Krampus or something? Like
what?
There's like a film coming out about this German folklore thing where it's this evil Santa who like scares children. Maybe it's just like English and American people. No, it's not the Grinch. But there is like a folklore thing where it's like the negative side of Santa Claus. Yeah.
No such thing as a negative
Well, the
side
only
of Santa
negative
Claus.
side of Santa Claus I know is Knecht Ruprecht, and bring you cold.
It's a Nicholas. I know there's an English word for it. I can't remember what it's called.
This dude, like, I don't want to show you it on the screen, but I'm gonna like research. Melly can do social.
But
media.
there's an English word for it, but I can't remember what it is.
Santa's
Stephen
little
Neal.
helper.
Yeah.
That's how. No, that's like his name, Santa's little helper.
Yeah.
Knecht Ruprecht.
Cool.
But well, people at home didn't really expect this match going that way as well. They were still going with, well, a slight advantage for DiNG, 52% at the end. But still, they underestimated Oops or clicked the wrong button, as it seems. I'm not sure, because no, there were actually no one guessing this one right. That makes me sad. Like that can't be true, can it? Oh, 3 people. Congratulations, you will get a bonus code.
Double. It's Christmas, Melly.
Well, yeah, okay. but they can't use like both of them for themselves. But they can pass
can-
it on to a friend.
Christmas
because,
cheer.
Yeah, a bit of
Christmas
Christmas cheer.
spirit. Here we
Christmas
go. Okay, 2 bonus codes for you guys because Lauren is pushing me into this. If I'm not
Yay!
sitting here the next match days, next day
my
it's her
fault.
fault. And of course, the next vote is online, so head over to facebook.com/WGLEU and get yourself in our voting for a chance of one of 15 bonus codes we're giving away because it's almost Christmas and I'm happy and Lauren's happy, Ollie's happy. You should be happy too. And of course, don't forget the hashtag WGLEU. Maybe tell us if you have something like Santa's Little Helper from where
It's
you live.
Bavarian, all right?
Bavaria.
I've
Yeah,
looked
that's
it
not
up.
German.
It's close.
No,
all right,
come on.
it's close.
Bavaria is-
Sacrilege for Germans.
Well, I'll look that up later and
we'll
then
discuss
we'll
it.
get this sorted.
Yep. So I've just Wikipedia'd it because I wanted to find out. And apparently,
soluble source.
yeah,
Solid source of
exactly.
information.
Punishes children who have misbehaved, in contrast to St. Nick. So basically,
Yeah.
Ollie, you're screwed.
I said St. Nick.
Yeah, but
it's
he's the opposite of him.
St.
Yeah.
Nick.
I want to see what like.
It's been a long time since I've dealt with these things.
Looks really creepy as well. From
Basically the devil.
yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
So Merry Christmas, guys. Hope you didn't behave, or or you did behave for your own sakes. Anyway, guys, we're going to take a quick break because I think I need to sober up because that eggnog's clearly going to my head that I don't have. I actually don't like eggnog.
No, I never had it before.
I think it's disgusting.
I think my grandma used to drink it.
It's gross. Absolutely gross. But anyway, my thoughts aside, guys, we're going to take a very short break. But when we're back, we'll be jumping in with RR up against KB.